Hiya, Lisa here. Just a quick video just to share with you something that I made a few years ago that you might find of use for your own benefit, whether you enjoy paper cutting, quilting. This is something that I made. I'm a cobbler by trade, alongside my husband. Typical shoe repairer. I've been doing it for years and years. It's what we both do, and what we earn a living doing. But this is something that I made whilst I was at work one day. But to be honest, anybody could make it. It was just an idea I had after seeing some various different types of rotating cutting mats out there on the internet. I'd actually bought one that was a square one. That was it was round. It was a round cutting mat that sat inside a square aperture that you used to turn, but the whole thing turned, and the whole square turned as well, which was really awkward. So when I had things on the table, the square corners would turn. It's not turning in its own space, so anything that was close to it, it would end up taking with it and knocking it off the table. And I thought, no, it's absolutely hopeless. So I decided to make myself a round cutting mat that rotated, that was stable, that was safe to use, with a rotating cutting knife, or rotary cutting knife. I enjoy sewing. I make quilts. I do a lot of applique, and I also do like to do a little bit of paper cutting every now and then for card making and stuff. I enjoy doing all sorts. But anyway, this particular mat is great. It's an old cutting mat. It's really old. And I cut it up with a pair of tin snippers, the large, very large sort of tin shears. You can pick them up from any DIY place, quite cheap. Drew a circle of the mat and cut it out and stuck it on this really cheap Lazy Susan. I picked this up for about $4.99 at our local, it's called The Range. It's a craft store and sort of DIY store, home base store here in the UK. Gummed it on. I used some rubber glue that I use at work to repair soles of shoes with, and heels, etc. If you haven't got any, you can actually pop down to your local cobblers and ask them to actually gum this on for you, and they'd be good enough to do it. I am absolutely certain of that. Most cobblers are pretty easygoing and are happy to help with anything that you ask of them. So long as they can do it, they will do it. Well, most cobblers that I know would. And basically I gummed it on. With this particular cutting mat, I was able to sand down and get off the rough edges. I did, admittedly, I did put this on my scouring machine, my finisher at work, the machine that scours the edges of the heels, just to take down this rim to give it a nice smooth rim. But again, any cobblers will do that for you. And if you've cut it accurate enough, you wouldn't have to do that anyway. It's brilliant. It's great. I stapled on some rubber stabilizers. These are all glued and stapled on. They're not going anywhere. And as the table turns, because they're rubber, it acts as a brake as well, so it doesn't move. Once you press on it, it acts as like a brake. Just to show you why I find using this cutting mat so much easier. For instance, here's a diamond quilt rule. I don't know if you can even see that actually, but it's a diamond quilt rule. And if you were going to do this on a just a normal surface, you would basically cut, and then you'd have to sort of either go around and come back down this way, in which case, one, the knife is facing you, which is quite dangerous, and two, you can't get a very good cut. Or you can, once you've cut one part, you can sort of carefully turn it on the worktop and then start cutting again. But with this, for instance, you line everything up, you cut it at the angle that you feel comfortable at, turn it round, cut, turn it round, and there's your triangle without any effort at all, reaching over, you know, trying to be careful turning it around and stuff. This hasn't even been pressed, so you can see how easy it was just to cut out, even with it being all wrinkled. Like I said, there are plenty out there. I'm sure many of you may have already thought of the idea. For those that haven't, I just think it's just, for me, it's been a great help with quilt cutting and applique and stuff like that. It's just helped so much. I use it all the time, in fact more often than I ever thought I would. Paper cutting is another thing. For instance, using your scalpel, you're cutting paper, and if you want to turn it at a particular angle without having to sort of twist and turn and everything else, you're able to do it. I know that's not how you would do. I'd normally end up going to the point and not coming away from a point, but you get the idea. You know, it just saves actually sort of having to turn. It's just easier. It's just easier to use rather than have to, you know, wangle your way around trying to cut out shapes, etc. That's about it. I just wanted to share it with you. I don't want to waffle on too much. I can bore most people. I could talk for England. I could go on and on and on. If you've got any questions about it, please feel free to ask me down below. I hope it's helped. I hope you find it useful. Okay, that's it until next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.